Working with the objects inside of the 3D game kit, if you go inside of here, the ones you're going to want to use is going to be the ones called the prefabs. Prefabs, you have interactables. Interactables are going to allow you to interact with the player. For instance, acid. If I was to place the acid inside the scene, just by dropping it in, I'm going to get some really cool particle effects with bubbles that go and grow. At the same time, notice inside of here, we have a particle system that has this one. Along with it can actually come a hitbox that can allow you to be hurt if you were to go in it. As if, for instance, just in terms of showing it visually inside of here, if I was to move this over to a lower spot, let's see, our low spot, probably over in this area. There we go. So if we were to place this in and push play, we can see that now we have a little bubbling area over on the side. And there's no hitbox right now, so the player can safely walk through this. But as you can see, it's very quickly able to create an environment around it. Also at the same time, if we were to go to our lights, and inside of our lighting, we'll take this and drop the lighting itself down to about a 0.3, maybe a 0.2. Notice all of a sudden you start getting a glow with the lighting on those. So lighting inside of here, the darker it gets, the use of these is going to be more evident. You're going to see it a little bit easier. So basic little setup on this one. We're going to take a look at a few of these just so you can get a general idea of it. We have a option for a pressure pad and a switch, and we also have one for a moving platform. Let's take a look at how these can work. So I'm going to drag the moving platform in. Now when the moving platform comes in, you'll notice that it has two main parts. There's a start and an end. If you go up to your moving platform, you'll see moving platform. Inside of it, you're going to have several different parts and pieces that allow it to move around inside the scene. By going to our main one, moving platform, I'm going to go into the simple translator. This is going to be one that just simply moves the object, translate the object from one point to the other. The interaction type says activate. You can also have it where it says the start, stop, destroy. You can be very specific as to what's going to happen based on what moment. There's an option for how long does it take once it gets to a spot before it starts going again. And then you have a loop type, which is once. What we want to do, we're just going to say the endpoint. We're going to use the endpoint right here. We're going to make both of these values at 0. So both of them are going to line up together right here. We're going to take the endpoint and actually move the endpoint up. Now if I take it up to a height, say for instance like this, the moving part, so for instance when I say I want to move from here to here, there's a loop type. If we do it with just once, it's going to go up and stop. It'll take 5 seconds to get there, and the acceleration curve is how quickly is it going to go. It's more just a linear curve right there. If we want it to go back and forth, we can choose ping pong. That way it's going to go back and forth, back and forth. And then a repeat option, you can say repeat and then how many times you want to repeat. We'll do ping pong to use this first for our purposes here. Your preview position can allow you to actually see where and how high it's going to go. So if you need to make sure it gets in just the right spot before you actually use it. Now the height of it's a little bit too, the starting point is like a little too low if you notice. What we want to do is actually move the object down. So we're going to say the starting point is a little bit below. So we'll say it's a -1. And actually let's go a little bit more. We'll say -1.5. There we go. So now the player could successfully walk or jump onto this and then have it go up from there. So if we push play at this point, we'll take a quick look at how this is going to work out. So now we have this one. We know the player can get onto it. If we were to say, for instance, it's going to be when it comes to the activate, if instead of being activated, it just was on start, then it would actually just be starting. So we'll do that next. So we'll just go back to our scene, and on the object, the activate, if we want it to be on the start, we'll say activate right here. Check this box. Now when we go back to play, because it's on activating, it's just going to be on the start of the activation. So now we have our pad moving up and down. Duration was 5 seconds to move on each one. The player can now successfully get onto the moving pad and jump off from it. Alright, so we have a moving pad inside the scene. We'll stop at this point. We'll pick up with a door and set a door up for the next part.